Welcome back. We are studying a scripture. I started this study in the previous episode, so if you have not seen that, please do well to watch that before this, because that's a study on Psalm number 1 and this is a study on Psalm number 2. So this is just two studies I'm doing just because it's interesting. Okay. Psalm number 1 talks about an introduction to the blessing, and I titled that one, "You are blessed, so behave." This one is an interesting one, Psalm 2, very interesting scripture, and I titled this one, "Kiss the Sun." Kiss the sun. You should have a new boyfriend called the sun. Go and kiss the sun. Interesting. It's just stay with me in this thought. I'm sure you will be blessed. Now, Psalm number 2 is an interesting psalm. There are two things to note about it before I read it. The first thing to note is that Psalm 2 is arguably in theology a futuristic psalm, a psalm that is like a revelation of things to come, like the book of Revelation, things that have not yet happened but that will happen. And Psalm number 2 gives you an idea of what is going to be. This setting, it's like a drama, and this drama is set in the future, so it's something that is going to happen. Theologians argue that, don't worry about that, but just to put that down, that it's arguably a futuristic psalm. The second thing to note about Psalm 2 is that it is like drama or poetry. To understand it, you have to know who's talking at every time. It's not one person that talked through the book of Psalm number 2. So you need to know who's talking at each time. If not, you will not understand this psalm. As simple and interesting and very well recited as it is, many people miss it because they don't know who's talking at a time. You have to follow the conversation to know who's talking. That's why it's interesting. So let me read this psalm, and I'm going to read it according to who's talking. So I'll read the first part of when one person was talking, and then when another person was talking, and like that. So let's start. I'm reading from the King James Version of the Bible. Psalm number 2 from verse 1. "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure." So this is verse 1 to verse 5. So what is saying in verse 5, and who's talking? This is the narrator, the psalmist, the person who wrote the psalm, the person who is seeing this vision of something in the future. And he's seeing that the kings of the earth and the heathen, they gather together, they're doing towns meeting, and they're provoking, they're angry, like, we're going to deal with this God and his son. We can't take it anymore. So arguably this is in the future. This is post-Antichrist and all that between the rapture and the Armageddon. Okay, all the end time things, and I'm not going to talk about that. So we're not dealing with eschatology here. We're just talking an interesting psalm that you're going to love the plot. So first setting, verse 1 to 5. The kings of the earth, they gather together. They are having a conversation. They are planning. They are plotting. They take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. When I was younger, I used to think that when they say they take counsel against the Lord and against his anointed, I thought they're talking about me, against I'm the anointed of God. But this is talking about a different person. This is talking about Jesus. Jesus is the anointed of God. So this is a counsel they are taking against God and against Jesus, the Son. That we are going to break their bands asunder. We are going to cast away their cords from us. This is the provocation. So somebody is narrating this, okay? Do you understand now the introduction of this scene? This is scene 1, act 1. Yeah? And then the psalmist ends this scene by saying that while this is going on, he that sits in heaven, that is the Lord now, he's laughing at them. He's saying, look at all these useless people. They are wasting their time plotting against me. He paints a little story there. I'll just pause and digress for a minute. A lot of times when your enemies are raging and provoking, it doesn't move God. God is just laughing. Because they are too inconsequential for God to begin to draw sword and want to engage them in battle. They are getting ready for war. They are singing war songs and getting ready, and God is laughing because it's inconsequential. Then in verse 5 it says, or verse 4, he that sit in heaven shall laugh at them, he shall hold them in derision. Then he shall speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. So the psalmist has finished introducing the plot, what is going on, scene 1. Yeah? Follow me, please. Now we come to verse 6, and someone else is talking. And this is God's answer. This is God the Father talking now. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. That's all God is saying. What is God saying? God's saying, I hear all your provoking, but all what you have said, my answer to it is that I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. That's the only response I have for you. In other words, the response of God to all the raging of the enemy is Jesus Christ. I've set my king. Jesus is the answer to all the provocation of the enemies. God's answer is one line. My son will handle it. I've set my son. I've set my king on the holy hill of Zion. God is not going to come down from heaven and begin to deal with your issues. That's why Jesus is there. He said, I've dealt with it because I set Jesus on high, on my holy hill of Zion. He's going to handle it. That's God's answer to the matter. So God has spoken. Second person has spoken. Now we go to verse 7, and another person is introduced into the plot. And he says in verse 7, I would declare the decree. Someone else is speaking now. This is not the psalmist, and this is not God the Father speaking. A third party is speaking. He says, I will declare the decree. And what is a decree? If you read that in the King James Version, there is a colon, meaning this is the decree. I'm about to tell you what the decree is. I will declare a decree, and this is the decree. He said the decree is, the Lord had said unto me. This is the decree I'm going to declare. This is what I'm going to use to handle it, because God said Jesus will handle it. Now this is Jesus speaking in verse 7. I will declare a decree. What is the decree? The Lord had said unto me, thou art my son, and this day have I begotten thee. So Jesus is saying, I am the king that is going to handle this matter, because I have been authorized. The Lord had said unto me, my father said unto me, you are my son. This day have I begotten me. Ask of me, I will give you the hidden for thy inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. So Jesus is saying, I'm the one in charge here, and I'm a legitimate king. The Lord had said unto me, he has instituted my kingship. And he has said, ask of me, I will give you the hidden for thy inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. And then he says in verse 9, what else did the Lord say to me in this decree? He says, you shall break them with a rod of iron, and you shall dash them in pieces like the potter's vessel. So Jesus is just introducing his CV. He's not addressing the matter. He's saying, let me tell you who I am, because the Father says, this is the person that will handle it. It's not me. My son will handle it. So the son now is telling you his certificate, his CV. He said, these are the things that the Father said unto me when he was setting me up in this throne. He said, first of all, you are my son. This day I have begotten thee. Number 2, ask of me. Ask of me. The Father told me, name your prize. I will give you the uttermost part of the earth for thy inheritance, or for thy possession, for thy inheritance. And I will give thee the hidden for thy inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. So the whole of the heavens and the earth he has given to me. That is in my CV. That's Jesus talking. Next thing he says in verse 9 is, I will do whatever I like with it. This uttermost part of the earth, the hidden, everything that he has given to me. If I feel like breaking them with a rod of iron, I'll do that. And I will dash them in pieces like the potter's vessel. So he's just telling you that I can smash. I can finish everything. I have the authority. I've been authorized by the Father. By the time Jesus finished introducing himself in verse 9, by the time he was done, someone else started speaking in verse 10. Jesus didn't answer these people. He just introduced his CV. He said, people are raging you. I will deal with it. We will set him asunder. They are making noise. He said, do you know who I am? Jesus is saying, I am the one that is authorized, that I can do absolutely anything I like with the earth. I can do like this now, and all of you will be under the ground. That's in my CV. The Father has authorized me. I will break them like a rod of iron, dash them like the potter's vessel. I will do anything I like. That is the Jesus that we're talking about, the center of creation. What verse 1 to verse 9 just showed us is that everything in the world revolves around Jesus. Jesus is the center, the answer, the final statement. In the study of the Bible, and I was saying this a bit in the previous study in Psalm 1, Genesis to Revelation is telling the story of just one person. Every chapter, every book of the Bible is telling the story of one person, Jesus. This whole world exists because of Jesus. John chapter 1 verse 1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him. Without Him was not anything made that was made. Revelation, for thou hast created all things, they are, for thy pleasure they are and were created. It is for His pleasure. Do you know why the trees exist? Just to make Jesus happy. Do you know why dogs bark and lions roar? It's just to greet Jesus. Do you know why when you wake up in the morning the birds are singing? Everybody is paying homage to one guy called Jesus. That this earth exists just to celebrate Jesus. That's the truth. This whole world, it's in His CV. He says He can do anything with it. Everybody is paying homage to Him. The creatures, they sing His praise morning and evening. The elements, the sun, the moon, and if you study Psalm 8 and Psalm 9, you understand that. The sun, the moon, the stars, everybody is paying homage. They all exist for this Son. God has set Him on the throne to make Him the center of creation, and everything exists for Him. Pause there for a minute before I end this thing. If you are not in alignment with Jesus, my brother, I don't know which party you belong to. Because Jesus is the only party. He is the center of creation. The Father says, my answer to all of you is Jesus. He is the center. Wow. That's why I love Jesus. Apart from the fact that the guy is a lover, he loves me crazily. All power belongs to Him. I cannot afford to be His enemy. You understand me? He can do anything, absolutely anything. And that's what the Father was saying. Look at His CV. Before you start boasting, we will do this, we will do that, the kings of the earth. Check out the CV of my son. Oh. And He just introduced a bit of His CV there from verse 7, 8, and 9. So after introducing this CV that the Father has set me on, I can break everything. What do we now see in verse 10 to 12, which is the message? Back to someone else is now talking. Jesus is done. He just introduced Himself and showed His CV, and He's done. And then someone else is now talking in verse 10. And this is back to the psalmist who wrote it. He now came back to say, so I heard you guys talk. I heard the Father talk. His own response was, my son. And I heard the Son show us His CV. So after all this thing I've heard, let me give you advice, you kings of the earth. So verse 10 is an advice from the psalmist, who was an observer in this plot. He's just the one writing what he has seen. He heard the kings talk, he heard the Father talk, he heard the Son talk. And he said, based on what I have seen so far, let me advise you people, you kings that are making noise. And verse 10 is the advice. He said, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. What is the advice? Verse 11. Serve the Lord with fear. Go and align yourself with the Lord. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. In other words, leave all this gra you are doing. It no pay you. Based on this guy's CV I just heard, my advice for you, go and align yourself with Him. Serve the Lord with fear. Rejoice with trembling. Why? Verse 12, He says, kiss the Son. This is my message. Kiss the Son so that He will not be angry. The way this guy's CV is, I think it's better for us to go and kneel down before Him now and kiss the Son, lest He be angry. He says, kiss the Son lest He be angry, and you perish from the way when His wrath is kindled only a little. So just, if He vex small, if He just vex like this, He said, you will perish from the way. Only small vex. Based on this guy's CV that we just saw, the psalmist is advising them, say, please go and kiss the Son, for your own good. So that is the message I'm saying today. All this gra you are doing, you think you can make it by yourself, by your own hustle alone. My friend, go and kiss the Son. The power of your success, the power of your breakthrough is in His hand. The power of the miracle you are chasing is in His hand. The breakthrough you are believing God in 2021 is in His hand. He can absolutely do anything. That enemy that is raging from your village, those village people, He can just say, wipe them away like this. Everything is in Jesus. And outside Jesus, there is no power. Once has it been spoken, twice we heard it, that power, as long as it's called power, it belongs to Him. So the advice, the summary of Psalm 2, this interesting poetry, is kiss the Son. What does it mean to kiss the Son? You say, go and align yourself, go and pay homage, jump party, decamp, go to Jesus' party now. Befriend the Son, give your life to him, stay close to him, associate with him, pay homage, be loyal, reverence him, go back to him, go and walk with him, stick with him, live for him, serve him. Make Jesus your best friend in 2021. That's my advice. Just associate with Jesus, kiss the Son, because you cannot afford to be his enemy. His CV is too great. And if you're not in his party, you are just suffering, hustling in the day, in the night. The Reverend Dr. Mercy Ezekiel, a great woman of God, she once told us, and she said, it is a risk to move around the streets of Lagos without Jesus in your life. It's too risky now. It's too hard. Nigeria had enough. Then you want to still do it without Jesus. What kind of sufferhead? Kiss the Son. Kiss the Son. That's the end of my study. Kiss the Son. Kiss the Son. Go and make friendship. Befriend him. Associate with him. Make him your new boyfriend, your new body. Day and night. Anywhere you are going, anything you are running. You want to run that investment. Anything. Do it with Jesus. He's the center of everything. Kiss the Son. That's Psalm 2. So that he's not angry. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. I hope you're blessed. Share the video. This and the previous one was just a study of 2 psalms that just interest me. Generally, we talk about a lot of things here. We try not to preach. We try to just gist. But these 2 psalms were just too interesting to pass by. So I thought to talk about them. Psalm 1 and Psalm 2. Again, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.